Integrity is a pretty simple concept when you think about it. Most people think that they understand what it means. So we're going to go over integrity today. Integrity refers to the qualities of number one, being honest, two, having strong moral principles, three, maintaining consistency in actions, values, methods, and expectations. So when you think about number one, it's easy, being honest. You don't snake anybody. You do the right thing when no one's watching. You're a good man, right? That's what most people think it is. They refer to it as doing the right thing when no one is watching, being truthful and being accountable for one's actions. And if you ask 99% of people, they'll all say, yes, I have integrity. But let's go to number two, having strong moral principles. When you say strong moral principles, let's go through that. So, moral principles are a set, like having a set values and beliefs that guide how you act, how you make decisions, and what you consider to be right or wrong. So, let's go over that again. So, that's what you decide to be right or wrong, because you can have strong moral principles and do the wrong thing, but that's still a part of integrity. So, when you think about criminals or back in the day, like way back in the day when like the medieval times or back when there were pirates, like there was a pirate code. You could be a pirate and be like, yeah, you wouldn't say it like that, but they could have integrity, right? They could have strong set of moral principles, right? So the third one is maintaining consistency in actions, values, methods, and expectations. So that's your being reliable and showing up on time and having things that you do consistently, right? So that's that person that's always in the gym, that's always checking on you, that is doing what they should be doing, right? That is doing what he has to do and doing what he should do, right? Because doing things that you have to do, that's not consistency. That's not showing integrity. That's that's the gun to your head, right? That's the government. That's the law, right? You don't get bonus points. You don't get stars for doing what you're supposed to do or following the rules or following the law, right? The integrity portion is being consistent with those values and those methods and the expectation. Like people expect you to do more than just your job. So when you think about number one, being honest, right? Or being good, or what we said before, doing the right thing when no one else is watching, right? If you're just doing the bare minimum, sitting on the sideline, that's not real integrity. But people would classify themselves as having integrity when they just do the bare minimum, right? So some other parts of integrity would be like personal integrity that involves one's true self, right? Maintaining honesty according to one's values. Then again, that good or bad, right? So if you're acting like you're a good person, if you're smiling and blah blah blah, but behind closed doors, you're doing whatever. That's that integrity portion right there. So being truthful to oneself, that's integrity. When you go into professional integrity, right? That's adhering to ethical standards in the workplace, being reliable and maintaining transparency in business practices. So then again, this is the forceful integrity, right? So ethical standards within the workplace and being reliable. Is it that's you something you have to do? When I think about integrity, how I see integrity within another man or another person, it's what do they do when they're not forced to do it? Not just when no one's looking, when they aren't forced to do it and no one's looking. Then that is true integrity. So one example that we just had was this 2024 election, right? The Democrats had like a bunch of money. I want to say $1 billion, but I could be wrong. Let's just say $100 million, right? And when they were getting people to speak for them, They paid Beyonce $10 million. They paid Eminem 1.8. They paid Oprah $1 million. Cardi B about $5 million. It goes on and on and on. When Donald Trump had his, when the Republicans had their little get together conference and stuff, they had not as big name people, but people that are famous that they could have asked for money for. They had Tucker Carlson and some other people. I can't think of it. Not as big name, but guess how much they paid them? Nothing. That's the integrity portion, right? So you pay all these people to do this, to come in and they talk good things, and then you don't pay them anything and they come in and talk good about you. That's that integrity portion. So would they have done it without the money? That shows that someone really cares. And that means a lot with integrity. It's not just like, oh, he's a really good worker at work. He comes when he's supposed to, he does what he's supposed to at work. It's like, no, he shows up and drops me off at the airport when he doesn't need to. He comes over when things are bad, I need to move. Like those kind of things. And I think that integrity, think about when you're a kid or when you're first born. I don't think you're born with any integrity, right? So integrity you can think of is experience and what you're taught and what you learn and the actions that you show with everything that you have learned and what you choose to actually believe in and what you choose to do beyond the norms, right? So when you're going back to those having strong principles, those actions, those values, because you can have values without actions, and that's not integrity. You have to have the values with the actions, and then expectations are put on you for the integrity that you have, and then you create methods. So that's all those. That's actions, values, methods, and expectations, all put together to make that integrity. It could be considered right. It could be considered wrong. What's more important is it useful? Do you want that person around? Because if it's not, then it's not integral to you. So the integrity is something that is all put together. You want someone to be honest. You want them to be good. You want them to do the right thing when no one's watching. But you also want them to have those strong moral principles built inside of them. So you know it's, hey, they're just not here doing that because they have to. It's just who they are. So it's like, would you rather have the guy that's doing it because he's supposed to and thinks that he's a good person? Or do you want the guy that is here because he believes in it? You want a mixture between the two, and then you want him to show through his actions and his values that that's his integrity. That is everything. And that's what's missing more and more because we are taught less and less. Like I'm a part of the problem. Like even with my kids, I wasn't taught a bunch and they're taught even less. So we have to teach them other things, things that you you should pass on what you know. And hopefully they grow more and they pass on more. That's all it is. And the more and more as time goes on, we learn less and less, it seems like. We really do. Unless you go out there and actually go and get it. I know guys that can't do the regular things that I can do, and they haven't learned anything without like on the way, right? So they are just basically just going through life, and you would ask them, and they would say they have integrity. How? You don't have any values. You don't have any principles besides the ones that the government or that the gun to your head gives you. Take those away, and what kind of integrity do you have? What kind of man are you without those things that you are forced to do? In anything that you are doing that you have to do, that you take it away and you can't survive, then you're forced to do it. So that's integrity. Doing what you should do, even though you don't have to do it when no one's watching. That's integrity to me. And that's what means the most because everybody sees everything else. How are you going to trust? I don't trust anything that people do in the light. I really don't because you have no clue why they're doing it, especially when you know they're doing it because they have to do it. How can I see any integrity in that? I can see a little. Good job. You're going, it's like just be better than average is basically the motto of the 20th century. Just be better than average because most people aren't even fucking average. So doing things in the light, what are you doing that you don't have to do? Think about that. What are you doing right now that you don't have to do that's making things better in your life and other people around you? That's integrity.